uh, 51 mandatory fields which are required for electronic tax invoice, and there are 49 mandatory fields which are required for commercial electronic invoice. Whoever business is VAT registered, they have to issue this standard electronic tax invoice with all those 51 mandatory tax fields. There are 51 mandatory tax fields and it is divided into 6 categories. First is invoice general categories, 8 fields, seller details, 11 fields, buyer details, 10 fields, document totals and payment, 6 fields, tax breakdown, 4 fields, and invoice line item, 12 fields. In invoice general details, we have this invoice number that we already have, unique identification number, invoice date, invoice type code, like it is 380 for the tax invoice. The tax code, the code is 380. Invoice currency code, whether it is in AED, USD, Euro, whatever is the currency, we have to mention on top of the invoice. Payment due date is also required. Invoice transaction type code, like it is for pre-zone, it is for export, or it is a standard invoice, it is a deemed invoice, whatever is the invoice, that tax transaction type is required to be mentioned in here. A specific identifier. In this identifier is UAE PIN AE profile. And business process type, it is in context of the transaction, whether it is B2B, it is B2G, or it is B2C. So it will define the transaction identity and processing context. Then we have seller's detail, 11 fields. First will be the seller name. Another will be the seller's TIN number. This is the 10-digit tax identification number, which is must. Then seller's electronic identifier, that is participant's ID. For UAE, it is 0235. Seller legal registration identifier. In this, we have to mention the trade license number or any other identification number, legal. If it is EID number, we have to mention that for sole establishments and all that. Then seller legal registration type, whatever number we are putting here. In this, we have to put the code of that ID type. It is, if it is trade license, we have to mention TL. If it is EID, we have to mention EID. If it is a passport, we have to mention PS. Then we have to mention the seller's TRN number, 15 digits number. Then seller's tax schema code, that is default is VAT. Then seller's address line item, line 1, city, country subdivision, and country code will be AE for UAE. Like this, if it is for export, it will change. Then there are buyer details, buyer full name, buyer's TIN number, then buyer's electronic identifier. If the buyer is in UAE only, then it will be 0235. If a buyer is in outside country, then this participant ID will change. Buyer legal registration identifier, that business ID required for B2B. Trade license number or something, it is required here. Then business tax identifier number, that is TRN. For input tax credit, we have to mention this number. Then buyer tax schema code, it is default VAT. Buyer address line, city, country subdivision, and country code. Then another field is document totals and payments. There will be sum of invoice line item, net amount, total before tax, invoice total amount without tax, final net amount, invoice total tax amount, total VAT in AED, invoice total amount with tax, gross total amount with without tax plus VAT, amount due for payment, outstanding amount to be paid, and payment means how that payment is expected, bank transfer, credit card, or any other Stripe payment, whatever is the payment mode, we have to mention that. Then tax breakdown, it will have the tax categories, taxable amount, tax category tax amount, tax category code. Tax category code will be these: standard rated, it will be S, zero rated, it will be Z, and exempted will be X. And tax category rate we have to put accordingly. Then invoice line level. In this line identifier will be there, row number 1, 2, 3, like that. We have to put invoice quantity, unit of measure code, standard code are words like this. line net amount, total for the line before tax, item name, short name for the product, item description, detailed explanation, item net price, price before tax, item tax category, category for the specific item, particular that item, what is the tax category code, what is the tax rate, what is the tax for that specific line item, and the invoice total for that. And if it is in any other currency, then we have to put currency exchange rate also in the invoice itself. All the fields are validated by the electronic invoice system. Whoever will be the ASP will be checking all these mandatory fields if it is there or not. If it is not there, the invoice will be rejected and resent to the seller to update all the information. Only valid invoices will approve for tax compliance and reporting. The challenges which we are having here is now we have to ready ERP systems. According to these mandatory fields, we have to update all these mandatory fields in our ERP system. Data accuracy, that the sellers and buyers names are correctly put it, their TRN number, TIN number is correctly put it, their address lines are correctly, tax mapping is correct, and software integration is done. We have to review the templates before going live. We have to update the system. If it is not allowing all these mandatory fields, and then we have to train the staff. If we are doing the accounting, then we have to do ourselves. If client is doing, then we have to train them then how to do all these fields.